Hello, so in order to learn Latin, I don't know if I'll make this video private. I think maybe I need to get over myself. So it's useful to talk about this holiday of like Yom Kippur, the scapegoat ritual. I think it's like Orthodox Jews, their morning service, they're reading about this scapegoat ritual. Um, Seems like basically the morning service for Yom Kippur. It's like the entire basis, the scapegoat. The impression I get, like the entire basis for Christianity. Um, they're praying 5 times per day, uh, only on Yom Kippur. Other days, they're only. I think there generally are 2 sacrifices when the temple is around per day. Yom Kippur, you're praying 5 times that day instead of 3 times. I'm not quite sure how that works. The evenings are like leftovers, basically, from the sacrifices for the day. I'm not completely sure. Maybe I'll make this private, maybe not. Um, but Yom Kippur, the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, I think is the entire foundation of Western civilization, and maybe the foundation of Islamic civilization as well. But maybe like the foundation of Western civilization of Christianity. That's like maybe more my audience. I don't necessarily have the same background, but Yom Kippur is something I am familiar with, and so I'll, and the whole thing with the mikvah as well. It's a Christian baptism, I think, is based on the Jewish idea of a mikvah, like ritual purification. If you're going to enter the temple, I think you need to purify yourself. Maybe symbolically, if you're trying to get closer to God, you want to be purifying yourself. It's maybe something to consider. I think for learning Latin, it's useful to learn about Yom Kippur. Uh, it's like the holiest day of the Jewish calendar. Maybe another thing to consider. I get the impression, so Jewish New Year, typically like Rosh Hashanah, is what people think of. Liturgically, maybe it's Passover. Uh, I think I read that somewhere. I feel like that seems like that kind of makes sense. That would be Passover. Like you get out of Egypt, and then you do the like that ritual with the goat on Yom Kippur, and then the rest of the year you're kind of in the desert until Passover comes again. Uh, like during the winter, maybe something like that. I'm not completely sure. Uh, Seems like Passover is maybe the beginning of the liturgical year. I think maybe from more of a secular perspective, maybe it's more Rosh Hashanah. Um, so I'll read this. It's a. I think it's the Torah portion that I don't know about other denominations. I think Orthodox Jewish people read this Torah portion in the morning about the scapegoat. Uh, so I'll read it out. I think it's kind of interesting. This is how we learn Latin faster. I think it's diplomatically useful Latin between like maybe. I'm not going to get into political issues right now. I'll talk about that maybe in the next video. You can let me know what you think. I'll read this Torah portion though. Okay, it's Leviticus chapter 16, I think. The Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the 2 sons of Aaron who died when they drew too close to the presence of the Lord. Lord said to Moses, "Tell your brother Aaron that he is not to come at will into the shrine behind the curtain, in front of the cover that is upon the ark, lest he die, for I appear in the cloud over the cover. Thus only shall Aaron enter the shrine with a bull of the herd for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. He shall be dressed in a sacred linen tunic with linen breeches next to his flesh, and be girt with a linen sash. He shall wear a linen turban. They are sacral vestments. He shall bathe his body in water and then put them on. From the Israelite community he shall take 2 he-goats for a sin offering and a ram for a burnt offering. Aaron is to offer his own bull of sin offering to make expiation for himself and for his household. Aaron shall take the 2 he-goats and let them stand before the Lord at the entrance of the tent of meeting. They shall place lots upon the 2 goats, one marked for the Lord and the other marked for Azazel. Aaron shall bring forward the goat designated by law for the Lord, which he is to offer as a sin offering. Well, the goat designated by law for Azazel shall be left standing alive before the Lord to make expiation with it and to send it off into the wilderness for Azazel. Aaron shall then offer his bull of sin offering to make expiation for himself and his household. He shall slaughter his bull of sin offering, and he shall take a panful of glowing coals scooped from the altar before the Lord, and 2 handfuls of finely ground aromatic incense, and bring this behind the curtain. Shall put the incense on the fire before the Lord, so the cloud from the incense screens the cover that is over the Ark of the Pact, lest he die. Shall take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger over the cover on the east side, and in front of the cover he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times. Shall then slaughter the people's goat of sin offering, bring its blood behind the curtain, and do with its blood what he has done with the blood of the bull. He shall sprinkle it over the cover and in front of the cover. Thus he shall purge the shrine of the uncleanness and transgression of the Israelites, whatever their sins. He shall do the same for the tent of meeting, which abides with them in the midst of their uncleanness. When he goes in to make expiation in the shrine, nobody else shall be in the tent of meeting until he comes out. When he's made expiation for himself and his household, for the whole congregation of Israel, he shall go out to the altar as before the Lord and purge it. He shall take some of the blood of the bull and of the goat and apply it to each of the horns of the altar. The rest of the blood he shall sprinkle on it with his finger 7 times, thus he shall cleanse it of the uncleanness of the Israelite and consecrate it. When he has finished purging the shrine, the tent of meeting, and the altar, the live goat shall be brought forward. Aaron shall lay both his hands upon the head of the live goat, and confess over it all the iniquities and transgressions of the Israelites, whatever their sins, putting them on the head of the goat, and it shall be sent off to the wilderness through a designated man. Thus the goat shall carry on it all their iniquities to an inaccessible region, and the goat shall be set free in the wilderness. And Aaron shall go into the tent of meeting, take off the linen vestments that he put on when he entered the shrine, and leave them there. He shall bathe his body in water in the holy precinct and put on his vestments. Then he shall come out and offer his burnt offering and the burnt offering of the people, meaning expiation for himself and for the people. The fat of the sin offering he shall turn into smoke on the altar. He who said the Azazel will go free shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. After that he may re-enter the camp. The bull of sin offering and the goat of sin offering, whose blood was brought in to purge the shrine, shall be taken outside the camp, and their hides, flesh, and dung shall be consumed in fire. He who burned them shall wash his clothes and bathe his body in water. After that he may re-enter the camp. And this shall be to you a law for all time. In the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, you shall practice self-denial. You shall do no manner of work, neither the citizen nor the alien who resides among you. For on this day atonement shall be made for you to cleanse you of all your sins. You shall be clean before the Lord. It shall be a Sabbath of complete rest for you, and you shall practice self-denial. It is a law for all time. The priest who has been anointed and ordained to serve as priest in place of his father shall make expiation. He shall put on the linen vestments, the sacred vestments. He shall purge the innermost shrine. He shall purge the tent of meeting and the altar, and he shall make expiation for the priests and for all the people of the congregation. This shall be to you a law for all time, to make atonement for the Israelites for their sins once a year. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him. Yeah, pretty important. This is the basis for Western civilization, I think. You can let me know what you think. Oh yeah, we found that engaging. Have a good day.